Got some reach. Let's go. Nah, that's actually kind of tight. Okay, turn it off. That's all we can afford. What's going on, you guys? Steve here, and today we're going to be checking out Gal Fighters for the Neo Geo Pocket. I've actually played this game before. I tried to record gameplay and I had no audio apparently. Sometimes I'm low-key struggling with OBS, but I'm trying over here. Anyways, the premise of this game is very simple. It's basically KOF without all the dudes. It's basically the various women of SNK properties duking it out. The art style of this game is the exact same as all the other fighting games on the Neo Geo Pocket, and I think this game is really interesting. It plays very fluid, and it's definitely worth a shot. So yeah, let's get into this. What's interesting about the Neo Geo Pocket is it was aggressively marketed towards teenage boys and men. So there's not too many games that consciously target women. I guess you could consider this one, but I mean, it's still, you know, a fighting game which has a large male audience. So yeah, this is one of the few games they made where they attempted to try and cater towards women. It plays exactly like the KOF games, the SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium, Samurai Showdown, exclamation point, all of those games. They look the same, they play the same. This just doesn't have guys. It's got some hidden characters, random select. Let's do Leona. I believe these are buffs. Yeah, I unlocked some of these the last time I played. Yeah, so you earn those during gameplay and you can use them in future matches. I love this art style, man. I think you can roll, yeah. Do a back roll. She's chucking that big old grenade. Oh, what? She got some reach. Let's go. Nah, that's actually kind of tight. I've never connected a super with Leona. I've tried, but it never seems to come out. Bop. Yeah, this art style just works. It's cartoony, and the sprites are big enough to where you can actually fight. It doesn't feel like the fighting games on the Game Boy where, you know, your characters are just jumping all over the place and you feel like you're just clanking two action figures together. This actually feels like a competent fighting game. For 99, 2000, this is very impressive. And you have to keep that in mind when you think about these old games. This was very innovative. The colors, you couldn't get this on the go anywhere at the time. So, you know, kids look at the Switch 2 and, you know, the Steam Deck and all this other stuff. But we didn't have stuff like that back then. So this was the dopest fighting game you could get on the go. Or just the dopest hardware you could get on the go. It was compatible with the Dreamcast for some games. Like, this thing was just way ahead of its time. Uh-oh. That almost connected. Let's see. Bop. Bop. Let's see if I can get a super. Oh, no. Yeah, the Neo Geo Pocket had this marketing campaign where I believe the slogan was, "I'm not a boy," where they just threw a bunch of shade at the Game Boy. And they tried to market this as, you know, the adult gaming handheld. If you didn't want kiddie, you know, cheap iterations of games, they claimed this was the handheld for you. And in a lot of aspects, this was. But unfortunately, they didn't make so many games for it. And the games just didn't captivate people in the States. So it didn't last very long. But I mean, this thing was so sick. These games are really fun. They're really fun. Oh no. Roll, man. Jeez, I'm just eating all this damage. Bop. Yeah, this is really fun, man. Yeah, so that's another item that I can use in the future. Not sure what it does yet. They didn't specify, but it does something. They're usually gameplay buffs. Bop. Whoa. I believe Shiki is from the Hyper 64 Neo Geo. They made a 3D arcade board, and they made a few games for it. And I believe she's originally from the Samurai Showdown game for that. I could be wrong, but I believe that's where she's originally from. I believe she's also in the SVC Chaos game. I think she's one of the hidden characters. I could totally be wrong, but I believe she's in that as well. Pretty interesting character. Her moveset is kind of strange. It's not the most practical, but I mean, interesting. I think her design is really sick. I just don't think she's a great character as she's mopping me up. Trying to get a super. Oh, guess not. And the music is so dope too. Even though most of these songs are just beep boop sounds compared to the Game Boy, this is way better. It's really unfortunate because the hardware was just so solid, but they just didn't get the games to really grip casual audiences. Honestly, who knows what could have happened with the Neo Geo Pocket if they got some solid third-party games. They got Sonic, but I mean, that's not enough. Especially back in 99, 2000 with Pokemon, like, you just couldn't compete with that. There's just no way. You didn't have Pokemon back then, American kids did not care. I was in that demographic. And I was on the Pokemon craze, so that was a cool air grab. Dude, it's so tough to connect her supers because it's this weird overhead that you can guard really easy. You can't open them up because there's an animation where it just takes too much time. So, like, you can combo... Oh, I was going to try it. You can combo stuff, but as soon as they open up, they recover and they guard. So yeah, unfortunately, this game isn't super loosey-goosey if you're looking for these crazy infinites like MVC2. You can't chain crazy stuff together, but I mean, it's still fun, considering. These stages are sick. Looks like you got Haomaru from Samurai Showdown in the background. Bop. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, see, you just can't. It's very tough to get that. The Neo Geo Pocket also had a horoscope and an internal clock. It used the same battery as the Dreamcast clock, the internal clock for that, as well as the VMU, if you're familiar with the Dreamcast and the VMU, the very notorious VMU. So yeah, it would give you daily horoscopes, and it had a calendar, and that was about it. And you just played the handful of games they made for it. The concept was interesting, just the execution wasn't there. But man, honestly, who knows what could have been if they just got some different games, if they got Madden or who knows what else at the time. For me personally, as I'm older now, I enjoy these SNK games, fighting games. This is fun for me, but I understand like the average little kid, especially 20, 30 years ago, didn't care about this stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a hard sell, especially in America. That's just not, what kids cared about back then. and that's what the library consisted of, so it's kind of tough. They did have other games. They had a Metal Slug port. I believe they had Bust a Move, but it was mostly Japanese arcade games. I love that stuff, but you know, even for the Dreamcast, a bunch of my friends were like, it doesn't have any games. It had a bunch of games, dude. It's just stuff you don't play, unfortunately. So yeah, consoles like the Dreamcast, the Neo Geo Pocket, they just didn't convert in the US. Explosive Gauge. Miss X, I forgot about this. So Miss X is actually Iori in a disguise. Not a great one, obviously, you can tell by the hair. It's really interesting to me how some of these canon characters, they were made in some of these side games for SNK. Like Violent Ken. Violent Ken came from SVC Chaos. I believe Miss X was in KOF 14. One of the newer KOF games, this character came back. Bop. Is that her grab? Is that a grab? No, it's not the grab. Interesting. Just can't get that going to save my life. It's really annoying. Yeah, the stages look really dope. The only fighting game that the original Game Boy Color had that was on par with this, I would say, is Power Quest. Had nice size sprites. Yeah, see, you can't stick those. The animations were solid. The moves, it was just quarter circle moves, just like Street Fighter. It was made by Capcom. It's just a really good fighting game. It's crazy that game is more competent than the Street Fighter port for the Game Boy, Mortal Kombat, Alpha, all of those games. Bop. Come on. Give me the super. Dang it. It's input reading. Got him. Yeah, Power Quest, in my opinion, is the best fighting game for the original Game Boy Color. And it plays pretty similar to these games for the Neo Geo Pocket. I believe that's the game. Short and sweet, fun gameplay, really concise roster. It's just really dope, man.